So I grew up without a television, so I was always making things in wood, and I made an electric guitar as a teenager and sort of got bit by the bug, so I started making guitars to sell while I was doing design studies. And then was working for a cabinet making firm, and I'd seen lots of carved bits, you know, on these Chippendale pieces and things, and that looks fun. Which were all carved by outsourced carvers, and they said, "Do you want to have a go at it?" If I'm carving animals, birds, anything, I always look for something to have a life to it. So I want these to look like you can see where they're going to move next. You know, you can see he's sleeping, obviously, but you're then thinking what's going on in his head. So there's that kind of expression. What's he dreaming about?
So the giants went through quite a few different phases of design. When we were looking at tendering for the project, we already had concepts that were done. And when it came to, you know, the fact that we were successful in the tender and that we were going to be working alongside Mcgurk Architechts, it was down to us to then really try and drill down on the details of these giants, how they were going to look. My dad was the one who drew sketches of these giants, of the, you know, the poses, one sitting and one standing. So it was really between my dad, our in-house design team at Flights of Fantasy, and then also, you know, Luke, of course, the carver.
Well, these are two giants. This one will be sort of asleep with a tree behind him. These are his legs here. The feet are in the workshop, and those two hands are going to be holding a club. This is all chainsaw work. And I've probably spent about £400 or £500 on chains and sprockets and parts and various bits. This whole one is cedar. This one here is a redwood. Doesn't work for everything because it's such a crazy colour, you know.
In cedar particularly, you get these wonderful, amazing hues of sort of, you know, pinks, oranges, reds. And we thought that with the giants, these would work really well, having all these really sort of, you know, these different shades of those sort of colours. I think alongside that, the fact that how large these giants are and how huge you had to find the timber in terms of the diameter. You know, you have to be finding these huge trees.
I think one of the most difficult things that I didn't really consider is when you look at each component, when it's next to you, it's nearly as big as me, and they're just big, abstracted forms. So to be able to see them in context, you know, like these are knees, you know, and these are going to go on feet, so I have to bear in mind they're going to be a lot taller because they're going to be mounted on at the ankles. But I can't relate to that as a human leg. To proportion things has been really blooming difficult. I didn't consider that. You know, just the halves of arms, the top halves, when they're laying on the floor, I can't work out where the muscle groups are, where the elbow might form, how to form the elbow. I've got this massive log, you know, whereas if it was sort of human size, I could work it. So that has actually been a surprising challenge.
I imagine as well with these carvings, like today, difficulties with the weather. Has that been an ongoing difficulty?
Yeah, especially in the run up to Christmas. You know, I was having to stop kind of 3:30, and you know, I'm then really fired up by then. You know, I'm really in the flow of it, and then suddenly it's getting dark. Thankfully now it's sort of light after 5, but you know, I've been able to get in the indoor area now. You know, if a rain day comes and I've finished everything in there, it's hard to sort of manage what I can take in there to sort of alleviate any downtime.
The project is based in a small town in Northern Ireland called Pomeroy. Having been there for the site visit and things like that, it actually feels like you're transported back to a different time. It's been a long time coming, and it's really great to see that it's getting to its final stages. It's a series of trail walkways, probably about 3 or 4 kilometres in total. There's kind of 2 sections of it. There's the play structures and then also the carvings. And you know, the play structures, this is what Flights of Fantasy have been doing and working on. These are all based on nursery rhymes and fairy tales. You know, you've got like the little red hen, you've got Billy Goat Gruff, you've got the 3 little pigs. You've got Hansel and Gretel. There's so many giants that are based around, Northern Irish and sort of Gaelic, Celtic folklore. It just made sense to be including these huge, amazing giants as part of the offering.
I've been fascinated by this whole job. Kind of wish I had time to enjoy it. And I have, I've taken a lot from it, but I think if there's anything I get out of it, it'll probably be some growth in mental skills and coping mechanisms and things like that, really. You have to do something really, really hard to get happy. Yeah. That's often the way. You have to throw yourself through something that is seemingly impossible. And Russell's idea of these just kind of lit me up.
We're just so thankful to be able to actually work on projects like these and clients that are willing to give us the freedom to be really creative and do some really cool stuff and to do things that we haven't done before.
As far as I know, these are the largest figures actually carved in wood that have ever been tackled. I have done some pretty good stuff, but this is probably the most epic, and it's fascinated me throughout.